Here we have a beginning example problem of balancing equations. The formulas are given to us. We just have blanks in front of them, which is what we call coefficients. Just like in math, the number in front of a variable is called a coefficient. Instead of a variable, we have a substance. So in this reaction, we're reacting lithium metal with bromine, and we're going to make lithium bromide. The arrow here tells us that's what we're making. So anything to the right of the arrow is what is being made. Anything to the left of the arrow is what you're reacting. And these are called reactants, and this would be the product. There are a couple of ways to do this. Some people just seem to have a knack for this, and we call that doing it by inspection. They just kind of look and they see that, oh, this needs a number here, and they just kind of do it, and they make those other people around them that are struggling with it angry because they seem to get it so easily. There are a number of strategies to work with this to figure out how to put coefficients in there. So I have lithium plus bromine. Now the reason bromine has a subscript 2 is it's one of our diatomic elements. Okay, one way of doing this is by making a little chart. Some people find this helpful. It's a way to count. They can keep track. They don't get lost going back and forth between the arrow and between the reactants and the products. To be helpful, try to list them in the same order. So I have lithium and bromine, and then I'm going to write it again over here closer to the product side. So there are no subscripts by the lithium, so that means I have 1. There is a subscript by the bromine, which means I have 2 atoms of bromine. On the product side, there are no subscripts at all, which means I have 1 atom of lithium and 1 atom of bromine in that substance. And when you compare, you notice that those are the same number, but these are not. And because this side is low, I'm going to need to put a coefficient. You can't just throw a 2 in there. You can't put a 2 in the middle, okay? Because this is the correct formula. Lithium is a +1, bromide's a -1. That formula can't change, but I can put a 2 here. Now on a coefficient, just like in math, the number carries through to everything, which means I'm going to need to change my tally. I have 2 lithium and I have 2 bromine. Well, my bromine now match up, but that kind of messed up my lithium. I can come over here and put a 2 in front of lithium, and it doesn't mess up anything because this plus sign stops that 2 from carrying through to anything. So now when I look, I have 2 lithium and 2 bromine. And it seems to work. There is a way to check. You don't have to do this. You can if you're feeling a little uncomfortable about it. So we think it's 2 lithium plus Br2 gives me 2 LiBr. You can use the molar mass as a way to check. So, the molar mass of lithium, if it's rounded, is 7. Br2 would be 160. Okay, so 7 plus 80, that's 87. Okay, so that's just the substance. Now I have to take it times the coefficient. Well, 14, there's a 1 here, so that's 160. And then 87 times 2 is 174. So, check. If I take 14 plus 160, does that give me 174? And it does. That means this is balanced correctly, because the masses have to work out. That's what conservation of matter and energy is all about. The mass has to be the same over here. We can't lose an atom. We can't gain an atom. It has to be the same number of atoms on this side. So I have 2 lithium, 2 Br. The 2 carries through, and there's 2 Br. And you can always check by doing the math. Just make sure you take into account the coefficients, and that helps you out in figuring out if your balanced equation is correct.